All right, so this is our top 5 favorite movies, and I'm going to be starting with number 5 of mine, which is The Prestige. I really enjoyed this movie. It's directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman. It was originally my favorite Christopher Nolan movie. There's one higher up on the list now, but it's if anybody doesn't know what this movie is, it's it involves rival magicians that are going up against each other. They were once friends, and first time I saw it was 2007, and I loved it. I think it was 2007, and I loved it, and it instantly became one of my favorites. So it's still up there. It's not number one. Saw movies after that I liked way more, but The Prestige, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's kind of an underrated movie. A lot of people don't know too much about it. It's one of the ones that's on Christopher Nolan's filmography that a lot of people don't know about. So make sure to take a look at it. All right, Rob, what's your number 5?
Mine is going to be Her, and that was a Spike Jonze film, and it has Joaquin Phoenix, and Scarlett Johansson does the voice acting. And I thought it was an amazing film, and I actually just recently watched it. And I don't personally favor love movies. I guess you could call this a love movie. But it takes a different path, and it breaks a lot of expectations. And I think that's one of the greatest things about the film, is the breaking expectations. I really appreciate in a film, because when I could predict very easily what's going to happen, the next scene, and I'm like, To me, it had a somewhat predictable ending, but not quite. It's almost like I'm going to kind of give you this, but not quite. It's not exactly what you're thinking. And I think that one of the greatest aspects of it was also the coloring of the film. Like, everything was these odd, like, pastel Easter colors, and I thought that was just very unusual. But it was different. It was like a new aesthetic theme that I've never seen before. And so great acting, great story, really awesome cinematography, and just all around a great film.
All right, our number 4s are the exact same, so we can kind of talk about it together. And that is Interstellar, directed by Christopher Nolan. We just saw that late last year, and we both ended up seeing it in IMAX, and it was absolutely incredible. Not just the experience, but just the overall movie, the writing, the directing, the cinematography, the acting. I loved everything about it. Rob, do you want to talk about what Interstellar is?
Yep, Interstellar is, I don't know if you already said, but our favorite Nolan film, and it's like the second Dust Bowl, and that's already a great setting. It's already a great location. It's like, wow, second Dust Bowl. It's like, why even do that? But who would ever even think of that? And Matthew McConaughey, my first movie I've ever seen with him in it, and he really blew me away. At first his reputation, I was already judging him. I was like, okay, I'm going to be as critical as I can because I heard that he's an outstanding actor. I saw him very briefly in Wolf of Wall Street. But in this, though, he played a main role. And in it, though, it's a breathtaking experience. And our mouths were just like, our jaws dropped.
It was literally. It's not even figuratively.
Yep.
It's really, they really did. We also saw it with our other friend, and all three of us, we could not talk. We were leaving the theater, and it was dead quiet when we were leaving the theater, and we saw it at a really late show. But it was dead quiet, and we literally could not think what to say. Only a movie, and it was again at the IMAX, was The Dark Knight. I left, and I was just like, holy crap. The way that ends, Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, the way those end, I was just like, oh, but this was like times 10. Feeling.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go to my number 3, which is not even on Rob's top 5, which is already a sin, and that is There Will Be Blood, directed by my favorite director, Paul Thomas Anderson. It's his only one on this list, but it was unbelievable. It's a masterclass of acting from Daniel Day-Lewis. It's his best role, even though I loved him in Lincoln. This is without a doubt his best role, and I think acting classes and theater classes, movie classes, film history classes to come will be featuring this movie and saying, if you want to see one of the greatest acting performances of all time, look no further than this movie, which came out in 2007. It's a hard movie to get through. It's a lot of, almost like nothing goes on at a lot of points, and you're just watching it. But it's interesting. I think it definitely could have taken the place of No Country for Old Men for Best Picture in 2007. But you have to see Paul Thomas Anderson's other movies to figure out if you're going to be able to like this and sit through this. Because I like all of his other movies, but I know a lot of people that hate his other movies and then hate this one. So it's almost like an acquired taste, but I absolutely love it. Rob, what's number 3 for you? I think I have an idea.
Mine is The Big Lebowski, and just to me, The Big Lebowski is just perfect in every way. I think it's just as funny as it is that it has great acting, and then it's the story is so convoluted that you just don't care at a certain point, just like the main character. So it's really awesome. I think Jeff Bridges really brings to life that character, and I mean, well, honestly, every actor and actress does within that movie, and I think just the absolute ridiculously of some of the scenes and the dialogue, it makes it a movie worth rewatching. And I think within the last 6 months, I think I've watched it 3 times, and yeah, it's really easy to get back to, and funny parts, thrilling parts, and it makes you think. A lot of the scenes make you think.
Schindler's List is my number 2. That movie really makes you think if you're not all depressed leaving. But I think it's Steven Spielberg's best movie. It's his best made movie. It's definitely not really a cult movie. It's definitely Oscar bait, but it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. That's why it's number 2. His being able to, he was so dead set on having it in black and white, being all in black and white, and like really like pressuring his superiors, like the production company. That's what I was trying to think of. The production company. He was trying to say it has to be in black and white or I won't do it, because he didn't want to colorize and make the Holocaust look beautiful, is how he said it. So he wanted just black and white, as ugly as possible, and I think that he succeeded with it. Liam Neeson, Ben Kingsley with absolutely amazing performances. Great job for him. That was his first. That was Steven Spielberg's first Oscar for Best Director and Best Picture, so it was definitely deserved.
Number 2, probably the best Vietnam movie,
yeah,
Apocalypse Now, and has Marlon Brando and Martin Sheen, and it's Francis Ford Coppola as the director, and it's, when I first saw it, this was the first movie, actually I should reword that, this is the first movie I ever saw that made me rethink movies, and it made me kind of go into more detail and examine it more thoroughly, because with this movie I went into it thinking guns, blood, yeah, it's war, that's what I thought, and then by the end of it I just realized it was just chaos, simply put, chaos. And if you have seen it, then you could probably agree with that, and if you haven't, then go into it and know that it's not going to be just a war movie. And the acting from Marlon Brando, even in the small scenes that he has, because he doesn't have a lot of scenes, it's all near the end of the last 20 minutes, are amazing. And Martin Sheen I think Martin Sheen pulls it. He pulls the whole movie, or he carries it. And that's funny. The funny thing is that he's just like an observer throughout the entire film. That's what's interesting. It's almost like he doesn't have a character. He's just merely observing, what is insanity, what is chaos, and where do I fit in with that. And it's just a very interesting theme to follow.
My favorite movie of all time is the number 1 movie on IMDb, and that is The Shawshank Redemption. Unreal, that movie. I've seen it so many times, and I can just keep on watching it, listen to the director's commentary and everything, and it's just based on a Stephen King novel, novella, if anybody wants to even look it up. It's with, in that novella, it's with Stand By Me, which is another really great movie, directed by Rob Reiner. And the acting, I think, is perfect. It has like one flaw in it that I can see, but other than that, it is 100% perfection. And there's nothing else to even say about this film. It's, it was robbed at the Oscars, but when it came out the same year as Forrest Gump and Pulp Fiction, it's going to be snubbed for stuff. But I think it's one of the greatest movies ever made. One of the best stories. It's something I can definitely always go back to and watch.
All right, my number 1 is Sam Mendes, and it is Jarhead. And my reasoning for this, and I'm going to sound like that hipster that says, "Oh, I liked it before I knew." I did not know what people thought of Jarhead when I first saw it. I was going into it thinking, once again, with the Apocalypse Now mindset of it's going to be a war movie about about the Persian Gulf War.
You thought it was going to be like Black Hawk Down, didn't you say that?
Yeah, Black Hawk Down, which is Ridley Scott's movie, and that's what I thought. But when I went into it, I realized that it was something much more than that. And I could even say I might have even saw this. Yeah, I think I did see this before Apocalypse Now. No, I saw it afterwards. But this is one of the movies that helped kind of make me more engaged into movies and make me more involved with them. Because the whole time I wanted there to be blood and gore and action. And that's what the movie doesn't give you. It does not give you the satisfaction of that. And that's what's awesome about it, is it makes you feel the main character's trials, in that he wants to go out and kill. He's been trained for years. He did the boot camp. He had to wait in the desert because he wants to kill the enemy, but he's never given that chance. And I think that's just an awesome experience, being able to literally feel what Jake Gyllenhaal, if I'm saying his name correctly, Jake Gyllenhaal's character literally feels the entire film. And at the end, I think the best way to end it, which this is exactly what Sam Mendes did, is Jake Gyllenhaal got to fire his gun up in the air and just get all the energy out. Even so, he didn't get to kill, but he finally got to fire his weapon. Because at the end, too, he even says, I never even fired my weapon, not even once. I never shot one bullet throughout this entire war. And he almost said, like, quotes. And, so that's one of my favorite films. It's my favorite film of all time. And it's unbeatable, I think. I don't know. We'll see what happens, though.